Continuing with our notes, how to create a graph, let's talk about the scaled axis, or axes. Okay, this will be the third of 5 that we're going to be discussing, axis scales. This is one thing that a lot of people seem to get, which is great. It's something that a lot of people don't make a lot of errors about when creating a graph. But I'll point out again, just as a quick reminder, that whenever you are selecting your numbers to be used on your scale, so you have both your y-axis and your x-axis, you need to come up with a pattern of spacing your information that you have collected, your data, your numbers. And it needs to be done evenly. And it needs to also follow a pattern. So for example, in this one, which is blue, that says correct, from 0 to 5, then 5 to 10, 10 to 15, and then so on and so forth. You'll notice that these are increasing by 5 each time. It's an increase of 5. So by increasing evenly, and also following a pattern, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, it's following a pattern of increasing by 5. Here's another example. 0 to 10,000, 10,000 to 20,000, and then to 30,000. So this is following a pattern of increasing by 10,000 each and every single time on a graph. And then there's some people that get these numbers that come in your data table, things you've collected, and they're like, oh, we have numbers of 0, 3, 5, 10, 12. You know, they're not necessarily evenly spaced. They don't follow a pattern. So what people then tend to do is they simply just make their scale and they go, all right, there's my 0. And after 0 comes 1. And then after 1 comes 3. They just put them in order. But the thing is that they don't follow a pattern. 0 to 1, that's an increase of 1. To 3, there's an increase of 2. And then another increase of 2. And then from 5 to 10 is an increase of 5. So there isn't a pattern that is followed in this data. That's why it's incorrect. So when numbering your axis, or just your axes, depending on which one you're doing, you want to make sure that it is labeled evenly and follows a pattern. So let's take a look at what's out there on the internet for some examples of this. Okay, taking a look again at the birthdays of students by month, you'll notice right across the bottom there isn't a numbered sequence, but on the y-axis there is. And you'll notice that it goes from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. So this follows a pattern of an even increase of 1 per unit. Let's look at a line graph. Looking at the day right across the bottom, you'll notice that it increases 1 to 2 to 3, 4. So there's an even increase of 1. And then across the y-axis, you'll notice that it goes from 0 to 20 to 40 to 60 to 80. And there's even a line in between, but it's not labeled. So again, that might be an increase of 10, but nonetheless, there's a pattern in the increases of 20. Let's look at a pictograph. And you notice that they used a key for this. So this one's a little bit different, but they used a key to represent an increase using soccer balls. Let's look at a scatter plot. Across the bottom, the x-axis, you know, it goes 0 to 10 to 20, 30. So it's increasing by 10. Notice on the y-axis, 0 to 10 to 20 to 30. Here's what you need to know also, is that a lot of people think that if you increase on the x-axis by 5, you must increase on the y-axis also by 5 as well. And that is not true. As long as the x-axis increases by the same number, so if we wanted to go 5, and then we wanted to go 10, it's increasing by 5. But if we wanted to do something different on the y-axis, because the data fits it, we can just simply go, as an example, we could go 2, 4, 6 by increasing by 2's. So the fact is, it doesn't matter if you're on the x or the y, you just need to follow a pattern, whatever axis you're on. So what I'd like for you to do is I'd like you to answer the 3 questions located right here. regarding the graph that you see below. And you also have that in your notes. Go ahead and hit pause. When you're ready to check your answers, go ahead, unpause. So the title of the graph, located right across the very top, as we have done 3 or 4 times now, effective study time on test score. And then you were asked to answer the following question, which is dealing again with labels in units. The x-axis, which is located right down here, you'll find that the label is study time, and now we have a unit. The unit is in days. And you'll notice that there is no score unit. There's no unit for that test score located over here. It only just has the label. And then the third and final question that you're asked, how are the x-axis and the y-axis scaled? You'll notice on the x-axis it goes from 0 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, then to 8, then to 10. You'll notice it's increasing by 2. The y-axis is scaled as it goes from 0 to 5, 5 to 10. It's increasing by 5.